In this video, I'm going to give you 4 tips to help you overcome that fear of failure. Hi, I'm Chayla. On this channel, I talk about entrepreneur tips, lifestyle tips, and just like this video, mindset tips. And today I'm going to talk about overcoming your fear of failure. I don't think I know anyone out there that doesn't have this fear hidden in the back of their mind. Sometimes this fear is like in the front of our minds. We have this fear that we are going to go out and do something and try something and it's gonna be an epic fail. We're gonna crash and we're gonna burn. Now this fear of epic failure and crashing and burning actually can hold us back, can keep us stuck where we are now because we're afraid to take the next step. We're afraid to put ourselves out there and go for what we want. Now, I'm not saying that these tips I'm gonna give you are gonna help you get rid of fear altogether because I think that's impossible. But what I hope that they do is that they teach you how to acknowledge that fear, hold that fear, take it with you, and do what you gotta do anyway. So, let's get into the 4 tips to help you overcome your fear of failure. My first tip to overcome your fear of failure is actually to get super specific on what you're afraid of. So when I think of failure, I actually think of it as setting an expectation for myself, either to do something or complete something or achieve something. And failing to me is not meeting that expectation that I set for myself. Now, once I kind of have that in my mind of what failing is for me, then it kind of takes some of the heat off. It takes some of the edge off because it's not this scary thing. It's not losing everything. It's not crashing. It's not burning. It's just not meeting the expectation I set for myself. A lot of the times we are imagining in our heads that crash and burn scenario. You're imagining that if you take that one step forward or if you try that new thing, your life is gonna end. Everybody's gonna hate you, you're gonna lose your house, you're gonna lose your family, like everything's just gonna go away. We're often like thinking of like these epic, crazy scenarios if things don't work out. But if you get really specific about what it is that you're afraid it might happen, it kind of takes away some of the fear. So what happens when you don't live up to those expectations that you set out for yourself? I want you to really think about it and get specific because it helps us really see what the fear is. So if you said that you were going to post on your blog once a week for the next 8 weeks and you only make 6, technically you didn't live up to your expectations and you could consider that a failure. Or you could just consider that you did 6 out of 8. So if failure to you in that instance looks like posting 6 blogs, maybe that isn't such a big fear after all. Maybe you don't have to feel so afraid of pushing publish. The fear of what if I can't keep up with that schedule is what's keeping you from posting any blog posts to begin with. Then I want you to think about what does it look like if you only post 6 out of those 8 blogs. Technically, you can consider that a failure, but is it? Does it feel like a failure? Will you still feel like you crashed and burned and wasted your time if you posted 6 out of 8? Now that's just an example, but I want you to think about things that you're doing in your life where you're like, I'm calling it a fail because I only did it part way. Instead of thinking about what you did do and what the impact of that was, and is that really a failure? Because once we get specific on what it is that we're doing and what not completing something actually looks like, it might not be so scary after all. My second tip is just to acknowledge that fear is a part of the process. So whatever you're doing, whatever big goal that you have or something that you want to accomplish, if you acknowledge that failing is a part of the process, it'll take you so far. You've probably heard this example a million times, but a baby learning to walk. They fall down on their face, they fall down on their butt, they almost make a step and they fall, they make 2 steps and they fall, but they always get back up. Now, if they didn't fall, they didn't practice and fall and fall and fall, they would never learn how to walk. And even if you have heard this example before, it rings so true, because when we're trying something new, when we're learning a new skill, when we're doing something we've never done before, we don't know how to do it perfectly. So that we're gonna have to try and see if something works, and failing is how the world shows us that way doesn't work. That is not going to be the way that works for you. And when I say the world is telling us that this is not the way it works, it's providing us data on where we should go next. So when I was in high school, I was on the cheerleading team, and we got a new coach who had been, a college cheerleader, and I don't remember where she'd been, but she was super jazzed. She had all the skills that our old coach didn't have, and she was gonna have us do this epic performance at homecoming game. And this performance had to do with a lot of stunts, which is where we lift the girls up and throw them and catch them. And she had this idea that we were gonna do a whole routine that was all stunts, that was all lifting and throwing each other. And we'd never done that before. We'd done maybe one in a routine, maybe two, but we never did them back to back to back and then close to each other. We'd never done that. And all through the summer, we practiced and we practiced and we practiced, and we sucked at it. We could maybe get the first one up, but then the next one would fall, and we couldn't lift it. We couldn't get the timing, and things would just crash, and we'd have to catch people who were supposed to be standing in the air, and it was a disaster. And it kept being a disaster until we worked and worked and worked, and each time we figured out what worked, what didn't, how we communicated with our partner, what the timing was, and each time we learned something, each try. And then eventually we got it, and eventually we were able to perform with all the stunts back to back to back to back. And we'd never been so proud of ourselves when we did it. So if you think about all the things that you're trying that's new, acknowledge that you're not going to be that great at it when you start. Acknowledge that you're going to have to put work. Acknowledge that you're going to try something and you're going to get feedback, and then you're going to have to try again to make it better. And it's just a part of the process, and it means nothing bad on you, has nothing to do with your value or your worth or anything. It's just a part of the process of learning something new and pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones. My third tip is to have a contingency plan. There's nothing wrong with having a plan B. So you know that there's something you want to try, that you're going to try this strategy to get you where you want to go. If you're trying to lose weight, maybe you're going to try kickboxing. Maybe you're going to try intermittent fasting. Maybe you're going to try walking every day. So say you pick intermittent fasting, and that is the way that you're going to try and lose weight. So if you think to yourself that you want to lose weight, and what you're going to try is kickboxing. So if you set out to do kickboxing and you try it 5 days a week, and you get through the first day and the second day and you realize that you hate it and you stop, you could say that's failing. But if you had a plan B of, okay, I'm gonna try kickboxing, I've never done it before, I don't know if I like it, but I'm gonna try it, and if that doesn't work for me, then I'm gonna try doing Zumba. If you already know that you have a plan B, that when something else doesn't work out and doesn't fit your plan right, doesn't give you what you need, then you have this other plan to fall back on. And it's like a little safety net to catch you, because it's allowing you to take what you learned and apply it to something new. It's applying it to a different path that you can take. So when I say having a plan B, it's just if whatever plan that you have doesn't work, instead of calling it a failure, you can call it a plan A, and you can move on to plan B without the drama of feeling like failing. If you have a better idea of what you're going to try first, try second, and try third, it takes some of the drama out of feeling like something didn't work because it had something to do with you. You can look at it, you can look at things objectively and see that, okay, I'm just going to move on to the second thing. It's not a failure, I just learned something, and now I'm trying something new. My fourth and final tip for getting over your feel of failure is getting over the fear of what everybody else is going to think. At some point in our lives, we've all kept ourselves quiet or censored ourselves or held ourselves back based on the fear of what other people were going to think, the fear of what people were going to think when we try something and it doesn't work out. My tip for you is to actually think about who those everybody's are. Who are the people that make up everybody? Is it your mom? Is it your partner? Is it your best friend? Is it the girl down the street? Who are the people that you consider everybody? And then once you go through and think about who those everybody's are, actually put some thought into, I'll go back to my example of posting on your blog. If I don't post on my blog, what will my mom think? If I don't post on my blog, what will my husband think? If I don't post on my blog, what will my best friend think? What will the girl down the street think? And if you go through that and really think of what those people might actually think, you might be surprised that they might be more supportive of you, that they're not going to tear you down, that they're going to be encouraging for you to keep going. They might even give you new ideas to make what you want to happen. And those people who are a part of your everybody list, who aren't encouraging and who aren't helping you get to where you want to go, then you need to edit them out. You need to tune them out, because unless they're here to help you, then you don't need to listen to you. Unless you consider them somebody you trust and somebody whose opinion matters to you, then you can get rid of them. Who cares what the girl down the street thinks? I know you might love your partner, but if they know nothing about blogging, or not interested in blogging and have nothing good to say about blogging, then maybe their opinion doesn't matter about blogging. Once you feel your everybody's full of people who are supporting and encouraging and helpful, then you can feel a little bit more comfortable to put yourself out there, because you know that the people behind you are going to support you. They're going to help you find a way to make what you want happen. So there you have it. Those are my 4 tips for overcoming the fear of failure. I want you to know, like I said at the beginning, that having this fear doesn't go away completely. It's just something that we have to acknowledge and carry with us and keep on keeping on. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. I would love it in the comments if you would let me know, how do you deal with failure in your life? What is your strategy for dealing with failure? Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.